Area F, starting with item 1, the PA Walsh STEAM Academy Board Presentation. Principal Cuevas and staff will present this item.
We'll start with. Good evening. We'll start off with introductions. First and foremost, good evening, President Horner, Vice President Northrop Gaddis, board members, Superintendent Carmen Garcia, Dr. Garcia, and Cabinet. Thank you all for having us here. My name is Juan Carlos Cuevas. I'm the proud principal of PA Walsh, and I'll introduce the rest of our members here today.
Hi, my name is Sheena. I'm a parent at PA Walsh.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Goldberg. I am one of the kindergarten teachers at PA Walsh.
Good evening. I'm Maria Rodriguez. I'm the assistant principal at PA Walsh.
Awesome, thank you. If we can go over to the first slide. So a little bit about PA Walsh. We have 369 students. About 20% of our population is special education, 32% English language learners, 20% is classified as McKinney-Vento, 71% socioeconomically disadvantaged. And in the bottom, you can see our makeup of our classrooms, so 47 in TK, 37 in kinder, 46 in first grade, 65 in second grade, 62 in third grade, 45 in fourth, and 61 students in fifth grade. We do have about 5% of migrant population and about 1% foster youth. You can see, again, the graph that I believe the board members have had a chance to look at as well, but about 80% of our population is Hispanic or Latino, with our next highest category being white with 8%. We have a dedicated staff of 21 certificated teachers, 3 TK assistant teachers, and 10 paraprofessionals across our campus. We have 12 of our teachers with a master's degree, and some of our specialized programs that we have is our therapeutics special education program, our dual language immersion program, which is now TK through second grade, and we have our STEAM specials on our campus. Our first focus goal for our school and for our SIPSA is that 65% of our students will meet their annual growth in terms of iReady in both English and math. And because we do have some room to make up in terms of our students' academics, we also measure our stretch goal, which means about 1.5 worth of years in growth, because research does show that if we're able to do that year after year, then our students, even if they are below grade level, will, after 2 to 3 years, will become at grade level. So our goal is that 30% of our students will meet 1.5 years worth of growth or more. Here you can see a breakdown of our fall to winter assessment. So at the beginning of the year, all of our students, kinder through fifth grade, take the assessment, and then we take it again once more right before December, right before the winter break. You do start seeing some growth, especially if you focus on fifth grade. We see a lot of growth if you can see the graph there. But really, a lot of the growth that we're going to see comes in the spring assessment, and that is something that when you look at the dashboard, both on SBAC, but also looking at our iReady scores from fall to spring last year, you can see a large amount of growth when you look at the full picture from fall to spring. If you go to the next slide. So here is a better graph of how we're doing in terms of our goal right now. So 21% of our students in math have already met their growth goal, meaning that they've grown about a year's worth of growth. And that comes down to 78 students meeting their growth goal. And then in their stretch goal, which is again 1.5 years worth of growth, we have 22 students that already met that, and that's about 8%. In terms of reading, again, that's been an area that is a focus at our school. You can start seeing some of the growth happening between fall to winter, but just like I mentioned, you'll really see the majority of the growth when we take our spring assessment in the next coming weeks. So go ahead and click on the next one. Thank you. So we do see more growth in terms of reading. So we see 31% of our students have already met that, which speaks on a lot of the actions that we've done that we'll talk about in our next coming slides. And then about 10% of our students, so 37 students, have already met their stretch goal, which is 1.5 years worth of growth. And I will have one of our teachers speak a little bit about some of the stuff we've been up to in terms of academics.
Okay, so you can see the first bullet point here, professional learning teams. We call those PLTs because, you know, in education, we love our acronyms, right? And so I actually will talk a little bit more about PLTs in one of our future slides, but I can say that that's the dedicated time we have each week to meet together as grade level teams and kind of strategize and plan. At our site, we've been focusing on math this year and last year in our PLTs, just talking about how to best serve our particular students, et cetera. So again, I will come back to that. We've been very fortunate this year, and actually last year as well, thanks to Juan Carlos and to the team at CABE, that's the California Association for Bilingual Education. We had a team from CABE come and actually sit down with us and get into planning our curriculum, which was incredibly helpful. We also had Benchmark, that is the company that wrote our curriculum that we use in our dual immersion program at our site, come as well. They've come a few times this year and last year to help us plan, like I said, planning across grade levels vertically, and really just helping share their expertise, especially I would say CABE, because they're so well-known, well-regarded. They have so much experience with getting bilingual programs off the ground. So we are so very fortunate that we were able to have a session with them this year, kind of planning, just teasing things out, talking about best practices, things like that. P3CC, I love this. This is a math initiative. I did not know this before, so I will share it with you. You guys may know this, but the P3 is for preschool, or in our case, TK, through third grade. And this is about something that I find really fascinating, which is talking about the new math framework and the kind of movement toward more what we call open tasks. So the kids are doing the work and the talking, unlike what I'm doing right now. So I wouldn't stand up in front of my kindergartners and just talk at them to teach them math. The idea would be more that they're experiencing math. What we have been implementing this year is what we call counting collections, where you give a kid a bag of objects and say, count these. And you don't give a lot of instruction. You don't give really any instruction at first. And you kind of just let them count and see what they do. I cannot tell you how my kindergartners count now. In Spanish, they count by twos, by fives, by tens. They love to skip count. At the beginning, I couldn't get them to do it. 1, 2, 3, all they want to count by ones. But lately, they have been doing it. And that is not something I had seen my students do in the past. So as you can tell by how I'm talking about this, I really think that is an awesome thing that we've been able to do at our site. Did you want to jump in?
In terms of data-driven decisions for interventions, again, really intentional with having formative assessment and analyzing our not only our iReady scores, but our internal assessments as well, so that we are providing targeted intervention for those students throughout the day. We do have reading intervention, and we do have math intervention at our site as well. And the Universal Design for Learning and Structured Student Talks. So a lot of the earlier measures that you're seeing, it's either for TK through third grade. So you might be wondering, what about fourth and fifth grade? Are we neglecting them? We're not. So when we're looking at research, again, research shows that if we target the younger grades is really where we're going to be able to have the most measurable growth. But in terms of supporting our fourth and fifth graders on our school as a whole, during our Wednesday professional development, we focus around best strategies on Universal Design for Learning. and also a focus on student and structured student talk with an emphasis on oral C and oral language development for our students, because as you saw, we have a large English language learner population, but we're all learners of academic vocabulary in the first place. And I do want to acknowledge, thank you, Ms. Goldberg, for crediting me with the work that we've been doing, but it really would not be possible without the support of Dr. Garcia, Dr. Jimenez, and the rest of Cabinet, in not only allowing us to have, and the board for approving, all of the professional development around CAVE and Benchmark, and I'm really excited for the direction that our Do Immersion program is going towards, and I look forward to sharing more of the work at a future meeting, but we did just finish, with the support of CAVE and Benchmark, some of our non-negotiables for our Do Immersion program, as well as a draft for our scope and sequence for TK through second grade. So really excited about the work that we're doing. Our second goal focuses on family and community engagement. One of the ways that we measured that this year was through back to school night. So we did fall short. Our goal was to have 60% of our families participate in back to school night. We had 50% this year, and in comparison to 48% last year. But we definitely are making improvements in the way that we engage with the community beyond just back to school night. So if you go to the next slide, and then Ms. Sheena will speak a little bit about our parent engagement.
Hello. I have two kids at PA Walsh. One is in second grade and one is in TK. And I'm happy to say that I get to speak about the exciting parts of this. But you can see here some of the events that the school has put on this year. The amount of community that is encouraged and shown at this school, the families that volunteer their time to come in to do the trunk or treat. I think we had somewhere like 40 trunks out there this year. It was really, really fun in Winter Wonderland. All of the teachers got a chance to host a table. I very proudly get to say that I was the one that sent home goldfish with the families, and I'm sure all the parents loved it. But it was a chance for the teachers to earn money for their classrooms. So the kids got to play all of these carnival games, but in that moment, it was really helping out the teachers in the classrooms as well. The holiday flea market, just allowing the community to come in and offer things that they might be making and do business for themselves. But we have Mr. Steve, who anybody who has heard that name knows that he is the light, right, of that school. He is the one that is not only a banana, but a taco and Captain America. And I'm sure many other costumes that I am not thinking of at the moment, but those are some of his prime ones. And every time he is just walking around, giving high fives, he is engaging with the kids. They had a competition this year who can say the most number of pie. And if you got it, you got to pie him in the face. And it's just, it is so much fun. The amount of effort that is put in to helping the kids want to be there and want to learn. After school programs, the list of options that were given, I was actually surprised. I expected like 3, and there were, I think, like 10 to 12 different options that were given to the kids, like as from Legos to reading, like sports, like football, soccer, to introduce the kids into all of these different things for free, which as a parent, that's amazing. Not only is it extra childcare for free as well. But yeah, thank you guys. Oh yeah, here's all. You can read all of the wonderful things that are said about the school. The really long one is mine.
All right. I know you guys have been waiting for me to talk more about professional learning teams. I said I would, and I will. That is my quote, actually. And this is definitely one of the kind of highlights of my week. I get to sit with my teaching partner, my grade level partner. We typically bring a common formative assessment, some kind of little assessment we've given our kids over the last week or two, bring them to that meeting, take a look at the data. How did the kids do? Did we meet our goal? You know, let's say it's 80% of our students will get 85% of the problems right in order to say that they've met the goal, this kind of thing. So we use the data to then drive our instruction, drive our intervention, drive our expansion, whatever activities we may need, depending on what our students need. And there's just no better way to kind of have that thought partner. And the fact that we get to do that on a weekly basis, I'm really grateful for. As you can see there, I do absolutely know for a fact, especially this year, this is our third year, my third year in the dual language program at Walsh. So this is our third year working on CFAs specifically for math. And this is the year that I'm finally seeing, using some of the same CFAs I used last year, not all of the same ones, but some of them, that I am seeing really results in how our students are starting to perform, especially as we get to closer to the end of the year. On some of those assessments as a result of our really fine-tuning. This group of students needs this group of students doesn't. So talking about, again, with my grade level partner, how to facilitate making sure each kid gets what they need and that differentiation is happening. So really grateful to have our weekly PLT time.
So as you have heard from several members of our school site, there's a huge emphasis on student engagement, right? And it's really crucial that children and the families and the staff want to come to school, right? They want to come to work, they want to be present. So we have to make sure that we have a safe, caring, engaging environment. So the way we do that, as you know, the district implements is PBIS throughout, right? And we also have what's called the Culture and Climate Team Committee. And that team's responsibility is to ensure that we have in place like Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 abilities or ways for us to support students so that they understand what the expectations are at the school and also that they are able to be more successful, right? So one of the things that we really want to do is recognize children, right? Recognize them for the behaviors that we want to see, recognize them for coming to school, recognize them for doing well in their class environments. So we do different types of activities in addition to all the other things that we do. Is also recognizing them. One of the new things that we kind of started to do is celebrating their attendance, coming to school. How do we recognize that? Because it's hard, you know, lots of children, every community has their own different types of needs in families. And sometimes it's hard to come to school, right? So we want to celebrate and recognize when they do attend. So we do have like certificates or recognitions. We have bulletin boards where we take pictures of the kids and we recognize them for coming to school. We greet them with positivity and we celebrate them being there. We also do a lot of outreach. We also have care at our site. So with Carla, we do a lot of calling. We call out to families and making sure that they are being supported and if there's something that we can do to support them so that they can bring their kids to school. And that has made a difference. And then, of course, there's other families that need a lot more support. So then we have that would be more of our Tier 3 level of supports. And then really, like, you know, as you can hear with Steve, Mr. Steve, yes, and the banana, drive up Walsh, you'll see he's either a banana, Captain America. The kids just love it. They're just excited to know what is he going to do, what is he going to. So right now we did what was relay races at recess. So the kids could celebrate, have relay races with their friends, and they got little like ribbons. And it's like something so small, but to the kids it was so big, right? And they had fun. And you'd be surprised how engaged they are. That it's the really don't have to worry about discipline as much, right? Because they're so excited and having fun and they want to participate. So those types of activities really engage kids. And then also just making sure that inside the classrooms, teachers are also implementing PBIS, kids teaching them about the expectations, practicing the expectations, and also celebrating and recognizing them. So those are really crucial for just the climate in the school environment. Next slide. And so, like I said, if kids are excited to come to school, then, and it's a safe place, then you will see an increase in attendance and you'll see a decrease in your chronic absenteeism. So as you can see over the years, there was, maybe 22, 23, we know kind of like the fluctuation there, closer to like COVID and stuff. So, but then you can start seeing that our numbers are going down, which is really great, which means more kids are coming to school. Can you go now? Great.
And then finally, again, on this slide, Ms. Sheena already mentioned a lot of our after-school clubs, but as being part of a community school awardee, we do have some extra funds, so we're able to run comprehensive after-school programs, and we make sure that they are free. As we saw, our population's about 70% socioeconomically disadvantaged, so as the principal, I'm very intentional that if we are going to offer something that for our families, that is something that everyone can access, which means free of cost. So we have approximately 100 students, kinder through fifth, that participate in group after-school groups each session. We've had 3 sessions this school year with this groups that you see, these clubs, is not like 3 in one session, it's all of them in each session. And we're really proud of the YMCA soccer because it's been a partnership. Again, it's not just a teacher or staff member coaching them, is the YMCA sports department coming out and partnering with us and doing that. And for Folklorico, again, I was always extremely, I don't want to say jealous online, but the fact that San Martin has the privilege to have that be their PE. Some of the Folklorico count as their electives. So for us, having it after school and partnering with Folklorico has been a way to, again, infuse more culture into our dual immersion program, which is another tenet of a dual immersion program. I think that's it. Questions? Thank you.
Thank you. I just mentioned before we get into that, I've got a couple people standing. If you want to stand, that's fine. There are some seats up here if you're looking for the first 2 rows. So just take a break, make yourself comfortable. And if you like standing, that's totally cool too. Okay, trustees. Questions or comments? Please, Clerk Northrup Gaddis.
I just wanted to say thank you for your presentation. I'm a proud PA Walsh parent. I have a 6th grader at Britton who went through PA Walsh and had a wonderful experience. He's a straight A student at Britton now. And I recognized my 1st grader in the art club picture. And yeah, I love PA Walsh so much. And I believe in the school and your vision for the school.
Who dare goes next? Trustee Altman.
I'll dare to go next. Thank you very much for the presentation. Slide 2 was 19.5% of your kids are in special ed. That is why. You have the therapeutic program. How many students are in there?
So in therapeutic, we have roughly around 22, and the rest of the makeup comes from RSP.
Okay, so that 22 with your small numbers. And then your enrollments, like by grade, is all over the place. What happened to 4th graders? Any thoughts? I think that was the one that was really low. Yeah, well, 4th grade is like almost 16 smaller than the surrounding grades. Do you have any ideas?
I don't have a specific answer for that one.
And then just looking at the kindergarten and the 1st grade, where again, it looks like there's going to be some bleed out. Do you think this might have to do with being dual enrollment or demographics in the area changing?
I think it's definitely a mixture, right? We do see both some families starting to come in, specifically wanting dual immersion. So I think when a program is new, it usually takes a couple of years to kind of kick off, right? As someone who has taught in a dual immersion program in San Jose Unified, we had much more students wanting to come into a dual immersion school, right? But dual immersion is relatively new to Morgan Hill still, other than San Martin, but because of the distance, a lot of families might not want to travel as much there, right? So I think there are definitely some families who do not want dual immersion. This year, we've been seeing a big uptick on students that are already learning 2 languages at home, whether that's a Middle Eastern language or Vietnamese. We're seeing a big population around that. So when I do individual tours with families, that's one of the big concerns that comes up of my student is still learning 3 languages. We're not sure that we want to throw on the 3rd or the 4th language. And we are seeing a lot of students that choose to opt out of dual immersion. Most of the scenarios have been those. But so it's a mixture. Right now we're projected at 3, close to the 3.5, I think, almost for TK. So enrollment is going up as well. And I think some of it might have been the growing pains of establishing a dual immersion program.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation and your enthusiasm. It's always exciting to see a parent that's, celebrating public schools. You mentioned the back to school night. You didn't necessarily have a high participation, and so I'm wondering, do you have a reason maybe why? Is it the day that it's scheduled, maybe the time, or is there childcare needs? I know, and I'll just say because we attend a lot of events, and so I remember, I think it was this fall, was it back to school night at Paradise was on a Friday night, right? And so I just kind of moving it from the midday. So I was just wondering what your take was on that.
So when we were doing some analysis, one of the things that we thought is that, so this year as part of the community schools, we really wanted to advertise everything else that we're doing. So we did a big event to kick off the school year that was, usually was our home and school club's ice cream social. And then we started rebranding and calling it our community schools kickoff. So we had a ton of different vendors, community organizations that came out. We had, we partnered with one of the barbershops in town to provide free haircuts for kids. And that had a great turnout. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that was maybe a week and a half before the school year started. And that also served as the TK meet and greet for parents. So we had a great turnout out that. And I'm thinking that maybe because a lot of families got to meet their teachers, because teachers were encouraged to also be there at that event, that it was kind of almost a pseudo back to school night. So we kind of lost some of that excitement of the back to school night because we had 2 within that same month pretty much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
She asked my question.
Oh, okay. Asked and answered.
If you're wondering are you wondering who Mr. Steve is?
Sorry?
Are you wondering who Mr. Steve is? Do you want to tell us? Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Steve is a great asset to the Morgan Hill community. He's been around about, going on to 6 years. So him and I both started at Britain. And then throughout my trajectory, him and I have always been great friends, and I didn't poach him, I swear. But the opportunity came for him to work for us at Walsh, and he was excited to come in, and he's been a great asset. A lot of the stuff that he comes up with is him driven, right? So I won't take any ownership of the banana costume or the Captain America, or the Easter Bunny, or many of the other ones that he comes up with, but he is a loved member of the Walsh/Britain community, and if you talk to any kids that fed through Walsh or Britain and you bring up Mr. Steve, I'm pretty sure he's more well-known than anyone else in this room.
Mr. Steve is a campus supervisor. That's his official title, but you would know it because he will absolutely do anything and everything. He is quite fantastic, and I think he beautifully represents the staff, the whole staff at Walsh. So thank you all so much for embracing and loving and welcoming our families and our students, and I thank you all for your leadership.
Okay. All I'll add is thank you very much. Great presentation, and thank you for all the hard work everybody's doing. That will conclude that item. Move on to item F2, our Climate Action Pathways for Schools presentation. Assistant Superintendent Jimenez will get us kicked off here.
Yay, great students. I have the joy and the privilege of welcoming this year's cohort of interns who are working in our district and with partnership with our city for the Climate Action Pathways. We call it CAPS. And I'm just going to turn it over to Mariana Miranda, who is our program coordinator and guides this wonderful group of students. And she'll introduce the students as well.
Thank you so much, Deanna. She already introduced myself and Climate Action Pathways for Schools, but we are a nonprofit that partners with school districts to advance in climate action while also providing an internship program. You can go to the next slide. I'm not sure who, yeah, thank you so much. We're currently supporting 7 districts across California. We have 3 in our Northern California hub, 3 in the Central Valley hub, and 1 in the Southern California hub. This year with Morgan Hill Unified School District, we were able to hire 20 amazing interns from Live Oak and Sobrato High Schools. They have been supporting 5 projects to aim and support the sustainability goals of the district as well as the city of Morgan Hill. Next slide. CAPS currently supports 5 project areas, and those are building decarbonization, transportation, zero waste, water conservation, and sustainable food systems. After discussing with the school district what their needs were, and also collaborating with school district staff, we were able to spot 2 project areas for Morgan Hill, and those are waste management and building decarbonization. In addition to that, we also support a partnership with the city of Morgan Hill that allowed us to add another project area, which is sustainable governance. That 3rd project area has 3 focuses. Those are healthy neighborhoods for all, open space element, and safety element. Throughout this whole internship, interns have been exposed to fast-growing green careers, and they've done so by learning more about those throughout our weekly meetings, as well as interviewing some of these amazing professionals throughout the whole year to support their project goals. Finally, I want to thank Assistant Superintendents Diana Jimenez and Calvera Chang, Director of Grounds and Maintenance Ricky Carrillo, Director of Student Nutrition, Michael Jochner, administrative staff at both high schools, as well as El Toro and Live Oak for their support, the board for allowing us to be here today, and most importantly, I want to thank the interns because they've been doing so much amazing work this year, collaborating with each other. So I'm going to turn it over to Seth, who's going to tell you more about his project.
Just go to the next slide. Hello, I am Seth Henderson. I am an intern for CAPS. Go to the next slide. I work with Objective 1, which is waste management. Could we go to the next slide? So with Objective 1, there have been 4 main phases of work that we have conducted, all with the same goal of creating a self-managed program, waste sorting program at P.A. Walsh Elementary School. And these 4 phases of work include, first we did our preliminary research, researching waste programs locally, nationally, and then globally. Then we went over to El Toro Elementary School and saw what an already existent composting system looked like and got ideas from that. Then we worked with PA Walsh staff as well as district officials to then implement our design program at PA Walsh Elementary. So California has created great legislative framework to push schools towards more sustainable waste practices. Assembly Bill 341, which mandates schools generating 4 or more cubic yards of waste per week, must have recycling services arranged. MHUSD is in compliance with this, with our agreement with Recology. However, Assembly Bill 1826, which takes basically the same thing and moves it to organic waste. It mandates the separation of, landfill debris as well as others. And then the biggest bill was Senate Bill 1383, which mandates a 75% reduction of organic waste by 2025 and a 20% recovery of edible surplus food. Finally, Assembly Bill 827, which says that next to every trash can there must be compost as well as recycling cans near the trash can that are visible and easy to see. We could go to the next slide. So diving more into what we've done with Objective 1. So with Objective 1, we first went to El Toro Elementary School and saw what a real live compost system looks like in person within our district at an elementary school. Then we took what we saw at this system and designed our own system for P.A. Walsh Elementary. We then, on February 23rd, 2025, did our baseline waste audit, which on this baseline waste audit, we set up our design program and let the kids throw their waste into whatever bins they thought fit. We did not help them. We did not direct them into any bin. And then over the next 2 to 3 weeks, we then taught them how to sort their waste into the correct bins. And on March 17th in 2026, we did our final waste audit in which we did the same setup just to see how much the kids grew from what we were teaching them as well as what they are learning in their classes. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is David, and I'm going to dive deeper into what our program looks like at P.A. Walsh. So as we see on our first chart on the top, that is our first waste audit. So we did not train any students about what the program is, and what different bins that waste can be sorted into. As we see on the picture below, we see a lot of fruit and vegetable scraps, aluminum foil, paper trays, so a lot of other waste that does not belong in that bin. But as we go further down, we're going to see our final waste audit, which we can see that 40% of the waste was compostable. And we did teach some of the students about our program, which shows our data has improved. So our findings is that students were very engaged. They enjoyed this program. They asked us questions all the time. The signage remained very consistent throughout. The contamination control was poor without assistance from interns. It was very effortless for all the staff. They're okay with the program, and it was pretty simple. The staff were very interested. They helped the students into waste sorting. And overall, the pilot waste sorting program was a success, especially the 2nd and 5th graders, which understood the program more, but our younger audiences often struggled with waste sorting. So we believe that we should have more courses about our program, so in the future they'll have better success with this program.
Hello everybody, my name is Aldrin Clemente. I am a CAPS intern as well as a senior from Live Oak High School. Today I'll be talking about our CO2 emissions data, and just to start off, PA Walsh emits around 8,000 pounds of food waste per year. And while the students are currently sorting their waste now, all that waste still ends up in landfill. This is because of a failure of a link for a compost collection system. And if there was, you can see right there, we would be saving around 5,817 pounds of CO2 waste per year. While PA Walsh is one of 14 sites in the district, spreading our program will allow for a environmentally impacted emissions output for us. The students are there and the infrastructure is there. All we need is to reach for our compost collection system link, which is in compliance of Senate Bill 1383. For our waste management recommendations, these are the next steps that we want from out of our program, which can help us here at CAPS as well as the district. So starting off with our infrastructural recommendations, we suggest to implement a 3-bin system with our program, along with consistent signage throughout the campuses. Next, we would want to recommend adding a food share bin for unopened items that can be placed in eating areas and cafeterias. And lastly, to favor more environmentally favorable products and reusable products, such as whiteboards. Next, we recommend having educational and behavioral recommendations, such as implementing lesson plans, Those lesson plans are created here at CAPS that can bring incentives for students because they have the knowledge of what they're doing. They can also learn goals from their schools. Next is to implement a green team, which is a group of students who are supervised by faculty that helps other students learn on how and where their trash goes. And this is a green team that helps during the cafeteria times to help guide other students where their waste goes. And lastly, we want to develop a compost and environmentally focused culture for all of those schools who follow our program. Thank you.
Welcome everyone, my name is Anish Murali. I am a CAPS intern and a senior at Live Oak High School, and I will be presenting on our next objective, which is buildings decarbonization. In this objective, we went through many steps to gather information in order to generate recommendations to the district to limit energy consumption. We then looked at and analyzed data regarding natural gas and electricity across district schools, identifying the highest and lowest energy consumers. We then conducted L1 energy audits and reviewed the master plan to better assess the school's performance overall. And based on these findings, we will be sharing recommendations for both structural and behavioral changes to assess the school's performance overall. And we will be looking at these numbers as we go into the slides over time. So when it comes to energy consumption, the vast majority of district sites have shown a below average energy consumption compared to the average K-12 school in California. While this is a positive outcome, this still isn't meeting the net zero mark of energy consumption, meaning that there's still room for improvement through energy efficiency and behavior. And through these improvements in energy consumption, not only will this contribute to less greenhouse gas emissions, but this will also contribute to lower costs across the district on bills. The 5 sites that have paid the most on their natural gas and electricity bills include Britton Middle School, Nordstrom Elementary School, Jackson Academy of Math and Music, Live Oak High School, and Ann Serrato High School. While this is a large amount of money being spent on energy each year, this also means that this could also be readily reduced with diverse cost-effective changes. So this chart gives us a clear picture as to where our energy dollars are going to across the district for the 2023-2024 school year. Each bar breaks down costs between electricity, which is shown in blue, and natural gas, which is shown in orange. And what we see here is that Ann Serrato High School is the highest cost site by a significant margin, coming in just under $450,000. Britton Middle School and Live Oak High School rank among our top spenders, approaching or exceeding $300,000. And one thing to note is that high schools as a category carry the heaviest energy cost burden, and this is consistent with the larger square footage and the longer operating hours. So this data gives us a baseline to identify where energy efficiency investments could have major impacts, and we will revisit these numbers as we evaluate next year's budget priorities.
Hi, my name is Kaylin Fong, and I'm a CAPS intern and a junior at Ann Serrato High School. Today, I'm here to present to you about EUI and benchmarking. So EUI, or energy use intensity, is the amount of energy used per square foot of a building each year, which is measured in kBTUs. EUI is a benchmark that is used to assess a school's current energy fitness level and potential improvements. The New Buildings Institute and the California Energy Commission provide data and standards to help establish these targets. According to Morgan Hill's climate patterns, the target EUI for schools across the district should be 21 to 22. So this chart shows schools' current energy. This chart shows schools' current EUI to the district's average target EUI. The blue bar is the Morgan Hill Schools building EUI. The red line is the whole building benchmark. The gray line is the building EUI average, and the yellow line is the building EUI target. One concerning pattern that is that no school is below or meets the EUI target. Well, it meets the EUI target. This means that there is a need and change for energy behaviors across the district. The schools with the highest EUI is the Community Adult School, Live Oak High School, and Ansobrado High School. The two high schools have significantly higher EUIs than the middle schools, which means they consume much more energy, especially due to their larger square footage. This data helps provide a baseline to know where energy efficiency improvements would be the most effective and where they are needed the soonest. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michaela Brinkus, a current senior at Ansobrado and a CAPS intern. In the slide in front of you, it has the utility cost for today for 2024 to 2025 school year, which is around $2 million. Now, this is not a set price for our utility bills and has an annual increase of around 4%, showing that any delay in reaching our target EUI is a greater cost overall. Now, if we were to hit our EUI target today, it would cost us about $1 million in utility bills, which is a 50% saving. That excess money saved can be used back as investments into MHUSD. In the next slide, we have our net carbon emissions, which is 3,242. This is equivalent to 8.2 million miles driven by an average gas-powered vehicle and powering over 435 homes. Now, if we were to hit our target EUI of 21.5, that would have a decrease of 60%, which is 1,900 metric tons of carbon dioxide saved from going into our atmosphere, which is important for securing the future of the next generations. In the next slide, we have our solar EUI. Our solar EUI is the amount of energy generated by our solar panels. We currently have solar panels at our two high schools, Live Oak and Ansobrado. I'm proud to report that the amount of energy that we generated through the solar panels is above our target. Now, in order to maintain this, we need to keep maintenance through cleaning and maintaining our solar panels. Thank you.
I'm Ray Chen Kaur, and I'll be presenting a summary of our recommendations for building decarbonization. So let's start off with some infrastructural recommendations. We first recommend that our HVAC systems be updated to heat pumps, especially for units that are 20 years or older. This would allow them to be more energy efficient and make our rooms more comfortable. We recommend installing motion sensing lighting to reduce the chances that lights will be kept on while they aren't being truly in use. Across the district, we are mainly using fluorescent lights or sodium lighting. We recommend switching to LEDs as they're more energy efficient. At the district, at and across sites, currently different building automation systems are being utilized. We recommend unifying them under one general system so that's easier to maintain and monitor. Now, moving on to some educational and behavioral recommendations. We recommend that teachers better utilize natural lighting from outdoors by keeping their window blinds open. They should also consider using half lighting, which involves dimming of lights. At the district, we recommend that you guys promote both teachers and students to partake in energy conservation practices, such as turning off unused lights, unplugging unused appliances, keeping our doors and windows closed, and leaving our ventilation vents clear. Moving on to our most and final recommendation, we recommend that energy conservation contests be conducted throughout the district. This will be led by us CAPS interns and involve multiple schools competing to see who could reduce their most amount of energy usage. To further supplement this, we encourage the creation of student-led green teams, which would promote energy conservation habits to their peers. Overall, Morgan Hill Unified has already made great strides towards energy conservation and general sustainability through our various projects this year. Our key recommendations involve updating to LED lights, HVAC modernization, energy conservation education, comprehensive waste management practices, and most importantly, the increase in green teams. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. These are the next steps for CAPS. We are going to return next year with another internship program, which we are currently recruiting for at the 3 high schools, Live Oak, Central High School, and Sobrado High School. We're recruiting rising juniors and seniors, and the application is open through May 3rd. Next, after that, once we have our new cohort, we'll start our summer training in June and July. 1 week in June, 1 week in July, and they will be doing technical skill training. We have some workshops from Apple, the Bay Air Center, and we also want to plan some field trips around this time. For the year 2026 and 2027, we want to continue our projects with waste management and building decarbonization. Waste management, we want to start supporting the district with compliance of Assembly Bill 827 and Senate Bill 1383. As well as building decarbonization, we want to now analyze live data because we now have a baseline, so we want to compare that to how the school district is currently doing, and also hopefully launch our energy competition to support behavioral changes. We'll continue collaborating with the district staff and during our monthly meetings, and you can go to the next slide. That's the very end of our presentation. We do have a report that we're working on, and it will be available at the beginning of June to the board and district staff. That's our social media if you want to learn more about our program and our partnership with Morgan Hill Unified School District. Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, colleagues, questions, comments?
I have.
Trustee Marquez, please.
First of all, I want to say very, very nice and thorough presentation. I commend all of the interns. Great job. Wonderful information. And I want to say it's also commemorating, we just had Earth Day. So, that was just the other day. We did that at work. And, the motto, the theme this year is Our Power, Our Planet. So it just all kind of fell into each other, and that's wonderful. And I want to congratulate the interns on your achievements with working with PA Walsh. That's really important to start with the elementary school levels, and they're learning so much from you on how to save the planet, the earth, their communities as they grow older. As they learn now, when they get older, they're going to pass that on. So great job. I look forward to seeing what you do for next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Excellent presentation. It sounds like you guys have made a lot of progress and learned an awful lot. I'm kind of blown away, and I don't even know if anyone hears the energy costs at Britain. I would have thought that new construction would have done better. Was these the current, like this last year?
This is from 2024, 2025.
Okay, so it wasn't the new buildings. That's kind of mind-blowing.
Please, Trustee Andrade.
Okay, so, Seth, David, Alden, Anish, Kaylin, Michaela, and Rashana, I am thoroughly impressed by your presentation. Public speaking is the #1 fear of people, and you guys killed it. I'm super proud. And just the knowledge and the depth in which you all explained it and the clarity in which you explained all the points. I have no questions other than just kudos to you all. Very, very impressive. I think the kids are going to be all right.
And if you don't know, this is from a college communications professor, so she knows what she's talking about.
Thank
Please,
you so
Trustee
much.
Munson.
I'm just going to echo that. You took the words right out of my mouth. So impressed, so amazed. I mean, being an elementary teacher, this is what we teach our kids to do, to actually apply everything, research skills, analyzing. I mean, you guys went through all of it, and just so impressed and excited for what your future's gonna, where this is gonna lead you guys in your future.
Anyone else? Okay, I'll add a few comments. Ditto on great job, and to point of personal pride as well. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, I came back from an AEC, said, I heard about this in CAPS, staff, you may want to look into it. So it's a delight to see what you all have done with it. Excellent job. And I'm wondering in the next phase, I'm also an electrical engineer and kind of geeky about this stuff. The electric versus natural gas use, that was really interesting. I think part of it at the high schools there, you have showers and gyms, right? So natural gas is space heating and hot water and a little bit of cooking. We don't do a lot of cooking here, so, but it would be really interesting in the electricity in the future to try and do some sample analysis. Like this room, we have classic electric use. We've got lighting, a lot of it, fluorescent bulbs. I'm not a fan of fluorescent bulbs. I feel the air moving, so that's HVAC, and got a bunch of laptops and electronics. So it'd be real interesting to understand our electric use, how much is what. I think given what we have a lot of lighting. So I think that's probably pretty high up there, but, I'd just be guessing, but, maybe in some of the future analysis, because that tells you where to focus, right? But I know one of the first answers is LED bulbs, just in case nobody ever heard me say that before. Anything else on this item? Okay, again, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well done. Oh, do you want? Yeah. Would the students like to have a formal picture with the board, and while we cheer you on? Yeah, let's. So come on up here.
Do you not want to be in there? Don't start.
We need to get friendlier.
All right, now this is actually perfect now. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. I took a few. Thank you so much. I took a few as well. Thank you. I know, right? Thank you, Costa. See you tomorrow. Yes, thank you.
Too big. Make sure I'm not skipping anything here. Very good, thanks again. Okay, we're now on to section G. First item there, approval of minutes from the board meeting of March 12th. Do we have a motion?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, trustee Andrade. Do we have a second? Thank you, trustee Marquez. Student board member? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Seeing none, that passes by the 6 members here present. Okay, then item 2 under there, minutes from the study session of March 23rd. Do we have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, trustees Munson and Andrade. Student board member? Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? All right, that passes with 6 members. We will now move on to section H, starting with public comment. This is for public comment for items not listed on tonight's agenda. The board may not discuss issues raised not listed on the agenda. Topics not on the agenda brought forward may be investigated by the administration, and follow-up will be as appropriate. So the first speaker we have, I believe, is here in the room. Is it Isobel Geronimo? Hopefully I got that correct. If not, please set me straight. Oh, okay, very good. Please, I'm sorry. Please come up to the little podium here so that everybody here and on Zoom can hear you. And then we had Sophia Somerville and Elena. Okay.
Hi, we're all related. Actually, if it's okay, Sophia Somerville, I'd like to go first.
Okay.
Okay.
We have our little 3-minute timer. Each of you has 3 minutes. Please go
Yes,
ahead.
thank you. Good evening. My name is Sophia Somerville. I have 2 boys in the Kappa classroom at Paradise Valley Engineering Academy here in Morgan Hill. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to and address the esteemed board this evening. This is my first time, and I'm not a public speaker, so forgive me. Okay, thank you.
You're doing
I'm here. I'm here to express a significant concern regarding the level of support presently available within the Kappa classroom. My children, along with the other students in these specialized environments, require consistent and a robust support to thrive academically and ensure their safety. A primary issue has been observed firsthand in a discrepancy between the reported staffing levels of these classrooms and the actual consistent presence of support staff throughout the school day. This situation is further compounded by the practice of support personnel accompanying students to general ed classes, which is a good thing. We want them going, yes. But however, this does diminish the overall support within the specialized Kappa setting. The ramifications of this understaffing extends to student safety. I must convey a serious incident where my own child, due to insignificant supervision, was with an overstretched staff, had eloped from a gated playground and traveled a considerable distance across the campus before the situation was even recognized. Now, these kids do elope, it's what happens, so we do, again, need to address. This occurrence underscores the critical need for adequate staffing to prevent potential harm to our children and concerns shared by many of parents in these programs. We are seeking clarification and guidance in how the Academy intends to address these critical support gaps. We would appreciate the board's insight on strategic strategies for enhancing support in the Kappa classroom, which would genuinely benefit our students and alleviate the burden on the dedicated yet overwhelmed staff at this time. Thank you for your time and considering these matters urgent.
Thank you. Next, please. Hello.
Hello, my name is Isabel Geronimo. I haven't spoken since college, so sorry.
It's okay. You're doing fine.
I'm a parent of 2 children in this district. I have one over at Martin Murphy, and I have one over at Paradise Valley. I'm an involved parent with both schools, so I volunteer quite consistently with both of them. But my issue, or my youngest, is 4th grader at PVA. He's autistic, he's nonverbal, and he requires constant supervision to ensure both of his safety and his ability to access his education. I'm here tonight to share serious concerns regarding the special needs program, specifically around student safety, the consistency of supports, and implementation of educational services. These concerns are based on what I have personally observed throughout the year, and actually also over several years across several different schools that I've been through. Our son has gone to El Toro, Los Paseos, back to El Toro, to JAM, and now Paradise in 5 years. So these issues and concerns are being brought forth with the hope of improving the program so it can truly support the students that it serves. Throughout our time in the district, his safety has been compromised on multiple campuses, as I've said. There have been instances where he's nearly left campus unsupervised. He's come home with bruises, bites, and scratches, often with no explanation provided by staff. In many cases, these incidents were either undocumented or not documented with meaningful detail. Even more concerning, there have been multiple occasions at PVA where I personally encountered students that have been left unattended and had to step in and help. While Cameron's IEP appears appropriate on paper, it is not implemented consistently, which significantly impacts his ability to access school safely and meaningfully. His one-to-one support is inconsistent due to staffing fluctuations, and when support is provided, it's not always effective. The guidance on how to support him does not adequately reflect his needs, which often leads to escalation or elopement. Additionally, his behavior plan is not followed consistently. Direct staff members respond in different ways, and these inconsistencies contribute to unpredictable behavior and increased safety concerns. We also have serious concerns regarding the delivery of related services, including speech and occupational therapy. Service logs are often missing or do not align with the goals and targets outlined in his IEP, leaving us without much confidence that services are being delivered as required. Communication has also been another major issue. Information is not consistent. It varies upon whom we speak with, and it makes it difficult to trust that we have clear understanding of what is actually happening day to day.
If you could wrap up, maybe your
Absolutely.
colleague.
No,
Yeah, thank you.
absolutely. I'm almost done. We want our son to succeed in this school district. We've been here for a long time. We've been fighting and trying to push and trying to help in whatever way we can. However, it's difficult when his safety is at risk and we don't have the supports that are reliably in place. So we are asking the district to help us look at some of these laps and try to improve the programs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Elena Bogdanova. Not exactly a seasoned public speaker either, but I'm here to speak on behalf of my son because he cannot speak for himself. My son is a fourth grade student in a special day class at Paradise Valley. He has significant needs, including severe autism and limited verbal communication. He also requires consistent adult support to be safe and to access his education. I'm here tonight because I have serious concern about both his safety and his access to learning at school. There have been multiple incidents where my son was injured during school day, including a head injury that required an emergency room visit. In this situation, there has not been clear documentation or explanation of what happened. And as a parent, that is extremely concerning. This points to a larger issue. Supervision and implementation are not consistent currently. And in addition to safety, I am equally concerned about his access to learning. Through his IEP process, his team acknowledged that my son requires frequent prompting and adult support to participate in tasks. However, the current levels of staffing do not match his needs. It is not just about progress, it is also about access when it comes to our kids. When support is inconsistent, my son and many kids in his classroom, they cannot initiate, engage, or communicate effectively in that environment. So I am asking the district to take this seriously and please ensure consistent and appropriate supervision for our kids, clear accountability and documentation when incidents occur, and most importantly, the level of individualized support necessary for students, just like my son, to safely and meaningfully access their education. This is about both safety and access to a free and appropriate public education. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Is this Evan? Okay. Evan Caps? Kate?
I'm here. I'm with them.
Okay, did you want?
I don't need to come up there. You guys hear what's going on.
Okay, thank you very much.
I appreciate you guys just help us out.
Understood, thank you. Our next speaker, Shannon Costanza.
Oh, look, it's at the right height this time. Can you hear me okay? Okay. So I have two separate things. Should I just do them?
You only get 3 minutes. That's
Oh, 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, then I'll talk fast. Okay.
You can send an
so-
email with more details later if you like.
So I know last time I was here a couple months ago, I brought up the Barrett marquee, and it's still not installed. It's still sitting in a classroom. So we're like almost 2 years later. And I'm told summer school is going to be held at Barrett this year, and it's taking up a whole classroom. So hopefully we can get this on the agenda for the facilities department soon. I don't even have any kids there anymore, but I really want this to be resolved. So I think there's at least one parent who wants to take this to the news. So the frustration is really mounting on this one. So if there's anything you can do, tell me what I need to do, whatever we need to do, just let's just get the sign up. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is I took my carpool group to the library a few weeks ago, and we were going to get some homework help, but none of the kids could open their Google Classroom from the library. So I went to a librarian for help, and I guess this is a known problem, and the libraries reached out to the district to let them know, but I don't know exactly what it is that they need to do, but if somebody could reach out to the library, that would be awesome. And so we ended up using the library computers, and the kids told me that was the quickest I've ever gotten an assignment done. And so the Chromebooks assigned, I guess, to middle school students are very slow, and many of them are 3 to 4 years old. So slow computers are a hindrance to learning, especially for students with ADHD. If they have to wait for the computer to respond, they'll get distracted and either answer the next question wrong, or they start making bad decisions during class. There's more to it than that, but I know I have limited time. But I don't know if anybody has reached out to Silicon Valley to ask for donations of Chromebooks or computers, things like that. We're just so close to such a big resource that I don't know if that's something that we can do, or if that's something as a parent that I can do. So if you could let me know about that too, that would be great. And then the last thing is light speed. So light speed is a problem, I think, for both students and teachers. There are many workarounds for the students to hack in and do other things during class. Well, anyway, so I don't know if there's something that can be done to trim up those hacks that the students are doing, and then also that would help the teachers too, because then the students are all paying attention. So thank you for your time again.
Okay. And thank you for yours. Thank you very much. And like I said, if there's additional details, you can send it by email. Okay, our seventh speaker, Mr. Christopher Bell.
Good evening. I'm here tonight to highlight continuing problems regarding transparency, governance, and now unethical behavior. So I'm specifically looking at John Horner and Vice President Sarah Northrup Gaddis to take corrective action in 3 areas. First, the board hired expensive consultants, Dale Scott, upholsterer and financial advisor, DWK, bond attorneys, to explore potential tax on the community, and parcel tax and a bond measure. That decision came before any public discussion about whether there was strategic, that was a priority. In January, John Horner sent me an email saying the results would be available in March or April. We're now past that window, obviously. This is the last board meeting in April. And there's been no update, no agenda item, no public explanation. I emailed about in the past week about a status update, silence. This is public money. The public has a right to know what was done, what was learned, and what comes next. Second issue, financial oversight. The district is out of compliance with Education Code Section 42631. I've mentioned this multiple times before. The board needs to review and approve expenditures. Trustee Altman, I believe, has asked to see expenditure details and hasn't received them in the past. Every other district in the county complies with this law. It's a fiduciary obligation. This district needs to do the same, especially now when we're facing serious deficit concerns. Transparency in spending is not optional. Do your job. Third, most concerning is this is the most concerning. It's an issue of ethics. Possibly it's legal, but everything that's legal isn't necessarily ethical, and that's this certainly. Last month, several parents were concerned about a teacher layoff, and apparently there were multiple teacher layoffs, and they asked when they should address the school board. They were told to come by John Horner in email, and I have it, and in text with Jennifer Marquez, to come at 6 p.m. in unequivocal terms. Speak at 6 p.m. in open session. But John, you most certainly know, setting the agenda, that layoff decision was discussed and voted on at 5 p.m. in closed session. So you were misleading parents who should have been informed to speak before the board adjourned to closed session. By directing them otherwise, you effectively denied them a meaningful opportunity to be heard before decisions were made. That undermines the purpose of public comment and erodes public trust. These are not complicated fixes. Sarah and John, do your job. Share the polling results and any conclusions in public, not in private, given the public investment. Require the board to approve expenditures by adding warrant registers to every board agenda as a consent item, as other school districts do. Gavilan does, Gilroy does, and stop undermining public trust by misdirecting the public on when to speak, and redo the vote on the teacher layoff. And I have an example of a warrant register. It's very simple. It's like a check register: date, check number, amount, to whom it was paid, and that's what you need to do for every expense. I hear teachers saying there's lavish spending and catering at the district office. That we don't even know. I have no proof because you don't share the expenses. That's not okay. Thank you. And I told this to SCOE last night too, Office of Education, and they're doing an inquiry.
Thank you, Mr. Robel. Okay, we'll move on to Section I, Communications for our student board member. Starting off off. Trying to get the presentation up here. There we go.
Okay. My name is Ronnie Paredes Hassel. I'm a student board member, and this is my MHUSD school site report of oncoming events. So tomorrow, Live Oak has its spring rally from 10:15 to 11:15. We also have our Green and Gold Awards for students who have been outstanding and excelling at school. So that's going to be from 6 to 7 on the 27th. We have Decision Day at Live Oak High School from 12:25 to 12:55. Me personally, I'm going to Gavilan, so I'm really excited for that. We have incoming freshman athletic info night at 6 p.m. Right now, we are currently in, I believe, golf and tennis season. So if your students are interested in that, make sure to attend this. So Ann Sobrado High School has their spring musical from 7 to 10 p.m. on the 24th, so tomorrow. They have their freshman celebration from 10 to 11 a.m. on the 28th, and Decision Day is all day, so they're going to be in the quad announcing where they're committing to. Central High School tomorrow has senior portraits. Britain Middle School has their assessment window all day on the 27th. They have their principal chat from 9 to 10 a.m. on the 28th, so if you have any concern or would like to speak with the principal, make sure to attend this. They have their school site council meeting from 8 to 9 on the 30th. Martin Murphy Middle School has their coffee chat from 9 to 10 a.m. on the 24th, so tomorrow. They as well have their home and school club meeting from 5:30 to 6:30 on the 12th of next month. And lucky them, they have no school all day on the 25th. I'm pretty sure high schoolers do. I'm not sure. PA Wash Elementary School has their open house from 5 to 6 p.m. on the 30th. Barrett Elementary School has their on-school site council meeting from 2:45 to 3:45 on the 28th. They also have their Loteria night from 5 to 8 p.m. Open house from 5:30 to 6 p.m. on the 12th, and their ELAC meeting from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. on the 22nd. Nordstrom Elementary School has their book fair all day on the 24th. They have their spring auction from 6 to 10 p.m. on the 24th, and they have their home and school club meeting from 7 to 8 p.m. on the 28th. Los Paseos Elementary School has their donuts with dudes. I'm not sure what that means. I was trying to figure that out. I don't know what that means. From 7:24 to 7:45 on the 24th. So tomorrow, if you want to have donuts with dudes, then make sure to attend.
You get to go with your kid as a dad.
Okay, yeah, I figured. Okay. They have their walk and bike and roll to school day. I'm not sure how your students are gonna roll to school, but that's, oh, rollerblades, okay. That's from 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. on the 30th of this month. San Martin Gwin has their coffee chat from 8:15 a.m. on the 28th. They have their Day of the Child on the 30th, and they have their mental health awareness spirit days, Fridays in May. Paradise Valley Engineering Academy has their HSA meeting in the library from 8 to 9 p.m. on the 28th. They have their in-school site council from 1:45 to 2:45 on the 29th, and they have their family dance from 5 to 7 p.m. Jackson Academy of Math and Music have their Staff and Teacher Appreciation Week on the 4th, and that goes on through the 9th. They have their Jam School-wide picture all day on the 8th of next month, and they have their 8th grade barbecue all day, lucky them, on the 22nd. El Toro Health Science Academy has their school site council meeting from 2:24 to 3:45 p.m. on the 28th. They have their home and school club meeting from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. on next month on the 5th. And they have their chat with the principal from 8:15 to 9:15 a.m. on the 6th. That is all.
Thank you very much. Well done. Move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Horner. It's a brief synopsis of some of the activities that I've engaged in since our last board meeting on the 23rd. We celebrated in a very big way Live Oak High School for receiving the Caring High School Award from the YMCA assets. And so congratulations to the entire Live Oak High School team. We filled a couple of tables. For those of you that currently work at Live Oak or have any connection with Live Oak High School, you have to know that as soon as you walk and you step foot onto that campus, you are welcomed, you are loved, you are supported. And I know we have some Live Oak teachers here and the administrator way back there. So go nuts. Congratulations, Live Oak High School. This is absolutely beautiful. This is the counseling team at Live Oak High School. This is what they call their wall of acceptance, or their MVP wall. And so each of those green slips represent our seniors and where they have been accepted. And so pretty impressive list of universities on there. Harvard, I don't know if there's a Stanford yet. Berkeley, UCLA, and so kudos to, again, the entire Live Oak High School team for making sure that our students are not just college and career ready, but they are ready for the future of their dreams. Also, thank you to AAUW for extending an invitation to me to give the keynote address to our young women leaders. I know that Trustee Andrade, you also provided a workshop during this day. And so Trustee Altman, thank you so much for your organization efforts. This is an impressive list of young girls, most of them from Morgan Hill Unified, but we had some from Gilroy and also from San Jose. So lovely ladies. I also provide my monthly Chamber of Commerce update. And so we're able to provide our local businesses in town, everything that we're up to here in Morgan Hill Unified. And also participated in a Northern California superintendent convening. The University of Southern California convened superintendents, and you see the group at the top right, where we discussed ways that we can address some of the academic needs that we're seeing in our classrooms and in our schools, and ways that USC can support us. School visits, my favorite part. I love to see our students in action. And also engaged in superintendent board visits. We went to Sobrato and to Walsh. Sobrato tomorrow is receiving the Distinguished High School Award. So congratulations to Sobrato. So team is going down to Anaheim. And also the Live Oak High School celebrated its 9th grade awards. Incredible. I shouldn't have favorites, but the ninth grade awards are so special because it's how we onboard our ninth grade to be successful, not just in ninth grade, but also in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So it's a beautiful way to honor our ninth graders. I also attended the Nordstrom Multicultural Fair. It's beautiful to see our parents and our students engaged in the many, many, many cultures that Nordstrom represents. And I know that Principal Cuevas talked briefly about the after-school clubs. One of them is the K-Kids, and this is in partnership with Kiwanis. Very soon, we will be having our ribbon-cutting celebration where our Walsh students, together with some Kiwani volunteers, support our students with their garden. I believe lots of, maybe Kat, you can tell us a little bit later everything that you planted in this garden. Also participated 5th year in a row, volunteering for the Wildflower Run. About 1,100 was at the final count. Trustee Altman, do you know? About 1,100 runners. And all of the proceeds, this is the only fundraiser that AAUW holds, and the proceeds come back to us, to our students, via programs and also via scholarships. I'm happy to also share with the board and the community that Assistant Superintendent Jimenez and I recently met with a very strong, powerful women who want to continue to see Machado, the Machado School field trips. They want their return. I guess during COVID, those went away. And so we will be bringing these field trips back. 4th and 5th grade, it's a target audience. So the Machado School, a team of teachers, retired teachers mainly, are going to be partnering with that. Also participated in the Celebrate Award, where we recognize our Educator of the Year and our Student of the Year. And lastly, CASP, the annual assessment has arrived. These are just some snapshots from San Martin Guen. The students created their motivational flyers and posters, and so these are throughout campus. Do your best and show what you know. We're ready to roll and show what we know. Cree en ti y todo será posible. Believe in yourself and everything will be possible. So good luck to all of our students who are currently taking the various CASP assessments, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. Okay. Any other staff reports? Is that it? That's it. Very good. Move on to our employee group reports then, starting with the Morgan Hill Classified Employees Association. Do you have a report for us? President Garcia, thank you. Whoa.
Sorry.
Quick mic.
Yes, it is. Good evening, board and trustees and cabinet. I'm just going to get a little report of what we're doing at this moment. We're almost coming to the end of the year. Just to let you know that we already presented our sunshine letter to you guys for our negotiations. Also, next week we'll be actually voting for a new executive board and reps for all our sites. We're excited for that too, to see our new group come in. And that's all we have for right now. We're looking forward to see what the district and ourselves are going to negotiate this year. So, yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you did all day and for coming to talk to us this evening. All right, next up we have the Morgan Hill Federation of Teachers. You going solo tonight? No. Okay.
Just a side note, did anyone see how just a side note, did anyone see how the CAPS presentation, they were doing like the scientific method all the way through? I mean, I'm an English teacher, but as like a nerd, that was so cool to see. Anyway, sorry. Just had to point that out.
It warmed my engineer's heart.
Right, eloquent speakers, but that scientific method, I was like, oh wow, like let's talk about extraneous variables for a second. Sorry, okay. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Executive Cabinet, and community members. My name is Kiwei Nguyen, and I am honored to be the elected president of the Morgan Hill Federation of Teachers. As April comes to a close and is sinking in for our educators that there are less than 2 months left with our students, I want to spend a few minutes discussing what life looks like for them currently. Some teachers are wrapping up CAPS testing while others are just beginning. This is on top of making sure that their classes are also completing the district assessment list. Elementary teachers are planning creative ways to showcase their students' successes this year at open houses. All of our schools are looking ahead towards the final grading period and report cards. And with that, they are also discussing class assignments and master schedules for next year. Certificated staff members are also planning and celebrating their students with decision days and senior nights, promotions, and graduations. And a fun fact, our office staff is busily preparing for our upcoming spring general meeting in just a few short weeks. This is a time that our members come together to celebrate our retirees and Teachers of the Year. And upon the culmination of this event, we will be sharing the names of the Teachers of the Year with you all so that you can join us in acknowledging the impact they have on the students they serve, the campuses they support, and the greater communities that they impact. They will be joining us here for that recognition, hopefully at the last meeting in May. As the 25-26 school year comes to a close, I want to circle back to two topics. I know that the district and Board of Trustees have approved a contract with Dale Scott to research and survey if the district should move forward with a parcel tax and a bond measure. The clock is ticking, and it has been, so maybe the clock is ticking a little faster now if the district wants to put these items on a November ballot. In my prior board speeches, I have spoken about including us, the Morgan Hill Federation of Teachers, as collaborative partners in the planning process, being able to ask those questions, make suggestions, and have a voice. I'm still hoping that this will happen at some point as requested. And with that being said, I also know that you have had discussions about workforce housing here. While this does not necessarily have a November ballot timeline, I certainly hope that the district will extend to us an invite to the metaphorical table. As this clearly is a district initiative that would greatly impact my members and any other employee groups being possibly included in it, I think any progress towards this would need our input. If this is still on the table, those individuals should be involved immediately. Once again, I am hopeful that the district reaches out soon if they are moving forward with either of these two initiatives, as they certainly will affect MHFT members as well as the community as a whole. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bookser, Principal Bookser, President Bookser, how many Bookser names do we have here?
Welcome, ready to go. From Mahela, lots of committee meetings going on, and testing is always the focal point, like our counterparts have said. So P3CC, professional development, is going on. You heard that through Walsh's presentation tonight, counting collections. SBAC testing is in the planning and in some cases already in motion. We're looking forward to our multicultural ceremony to celebrate all of our students who have met proficiency and being reclassified as proficient English learners. That's always a great celebration, a classy event. Our retirement committee has been working hard and getting planned for all of our retirees and the celebration of all their years of hard work. We've had an inclusion roadmap committee meeting where we look at supporting the school district as a whole and helping all of our mindsets and current research around the importance of inclusion for students with disabilities and students without disabilities and the importance of how everybody learns from each other. A big push toward the Saturday academies for recouping attendance. That's a big push, and we're getting better at that. We've had a joint health benefits committee meeting from all of MHFT, MESIA, and Mahela, and started our first of 4 meetings in that respect. A hard campaigning going on with the Mahela elections this year, Julie. It's a tough one. We'll see what happens next week. Stay tuned. I'm trying, but they won't let me out. Anyway, the LCAP and SIPSA planning is occurring. Your principals are deep into their SIPSAs and making sure that all their actions, plans, goals, and budget allocations are put into place. And finally, summer school planning continues. Looking forward to a great summer school this year. And that is it from Mahela. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's probably not as mysterious as the June 2nd primary for the state. All right, moving on to board member reports. Colleagues, Trustee Andrade, give me the sign, and then we'll keep going around.
Okay, so as previously mentioned, I did speak at AAUW, the Young Leaders. Thank you, Trustee Altman, for organizing that. The girls were amazing, and my topic was how I never ask a young person, what do you want to be? Because of what it implies. And so instead I ask, how do you want to be? And so I led a workshop about my educational journey, about how it's okay to not know what you want to do with your life. There are people in their 40s, 50s still asking themselves that question. And I think, as a public education system, we put an enormous amount of pressure on our students at 18 to somehow have it all figured out. So I kind of hoped I inspired them to let them know that you don't necessarily have to have it all figured out. And a little bit of Sobrato news. Huge shout out to Chrissy Hunger, our creative writing teacher, who now it is a pathway. It is approved college. The course is A to G. It's approved. But that's not what I wanted to share. She published another book, and it is a young adult, ages 7 to 12, with illustrations done by Sobrato's own Dale Dowd. And the title is Never Wish for Superpowers, and the superpower in question, invisibility. So that is available on Amazon, just a shot out there. Had a productive meeting with the South County Workforce Development chambers involved in that city, and we have chosen our 2 projects for summer 2027. We're really excited about those, so those will be rolling out. And in a little bit of Gavilan news, we had the Ramorama, and last week Morgan Hill Unified showed up strong on Thursday, and it was great to see some students that we see in here. And it was just fantastic, the energy there on campus. And I did get 2 to enroll in my public speaking class, and I hope to get a 3rd. No pressure, Ronnie. But just speaking of college, community college, I wanted to speak a little bit to young people and parents that may be tuning in. There's a lot of pressure right now, and we get the college acceptance letters, right? We have that wall. And a lot of times, students don't get into their dream school, and they think it's all over. And what I want to share, okay, had nothing to do with it. Literally a mic drop, that happens when I speak, yeah. I wanted to share with students and parents that if you don't get into your dream school, it's gonna be okay. I have a student right now, Aiden Nguyen, and he's given me permission to share this. He was rejected from all his schools 2 years ago as a high school senior. He got into all of his dream schools as a transfer student. So he will be attending UC Berkeley in the fall for School of Engineering. I have another student, returning student, she's in her 40s. She was accepted to UC Berkeley, UC Santa Barbara, UC Santa Cruz, UC Davis, San Francisco State, San Jose, CSUMB, and UC Santa Barbara. And so I feel like this, we put a lot of pressure on students with 4-year degrees. Community college is where it's at because you're going to get into your dream school. You will get into your dream school. And lastly, so that's what I want to share. And lastly, I know we've talked a little bit about how we can partner with the library. There was a recent write-up about Chicago Public Schools partnering with the Chicago Public Library, and that their student IDs are automatically their library cards.
We already do that.
And I know we already do that. And so I was kind of like, that looks a little familiar. So I know, I don't know if people know that in the community. So I just wanted to put that out there that your children have library cards. And so hopefully they are used this summer, and that is it for my update. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay. Clerk Northrop Gaddis, or Vice President Northrop Gaddis, sorry.
Well, earlier today, I came from the Britain Track Meet at Valley Christian, and it was great to see emerging student athletes compete, and of course, my own 6th grader. I went to the chamber breakfast where Dr. Garcia spoke. It was my first time, and it was great to see really positive reports from different business and government leaders in Morgan Hill. PA Walsh is having the Book Blast right now, which is a great fundraiser that collects donations for books, and they distribute books to every student, even those who aren't able to collect donations. And my 1st grader's teacher won a $100 shopping spree for her classroom library.
Nice.
And some personal news. I'm chaperoning a trip to the Monterey Bay Aquarium next week with P.A. Walsh's first grade class, and I'm really excited about it. I also got to chaperone the Children's Discovery Museum a couple months ago, so I'm very spoiled this year. And that's it.
Thank you very much. What else? Please, Clerk Marquez. Maybe you got the dead one?
That's fine. I attended the Los Paseos open house, and I have a granddaughter that is in third grade, but I went to some of the other classes. I have a sixth grade granddaughter that went to Los Paseos, so I went to go visit some of the teachers, and one of the teachers is very well known, Mrs. Jackson, and or Miss Jarson, excuse me. I went to her classroom, and it was so packed, and they all had food. And I thought, why is everybody bringing food? And she had said that one of the students had suggested that they each bring something that is important to them to make, some kind of food item. And it was around Christmas time, and it went over so well, they wanted to do it again for open house. And so all the kids were there, the parents were there, they shared these things. And she says, see what happens when you listen to your students? And I thought, wow, that is so true. And they were so proud, very proud to have us try everything that they had. And they had stories of why it was important to them. And some of them even had the recipes. So it was really nice to see, them so enthusiastic in fifth grade. I also attended the CAB meeting. And Karina Sapien was a guest speaker from FACE, and she talked about what FACE does and what they offer to the community. And, we've had her here speaking and sharing, so it was really nice to hear her share what they do to the community. So that was really great. And myself, same as I'm gonna chaperone Los Paseos third graders to the conservatory at De Anza. So I've done that before, so I'm going back again. Different group. So I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Allman?
This is my report. I woke up at 3:40 this morning, and then I start thinking, and I'm thinking about school board stuff. And so some of this will have to go belongs at the end. Not exactly. Things that have been dropped that need to not be dropped. The data reports, we had a ad hoc committee in 2023. We adopted, we weren't going to call it a dashboard, I don't remember, but we haven't been getting those. So if we could reinstitute the data, I'll call it a dashboard for now because, yeah, the data snapshots, that's what we called, yeah, those would be really useful. I felt bad leaving the meeting. The last meeting during the meeting, and then I was wondering, okay, how, I like looking at numbers, so I'd love to have the data snapshots back. At our retreat in the fall, we were talking about having accounts payable as part of the agenda, and that has seemed to have disappeared, and also the Saturday school updates. And because I start thinking about this stuff and then I don't go back to sleep for a long time, then I don't end up making the site visits that I had said I was going to go to because it messes up my schedule. So my apologies to Sobrato and SMG. I really had intended to get there, and then I had to turn my alarm off and then get some work done. So, and actually none of these are new business or just things that we need to recover. Thank you.
Thank you. Any over here? Okay, I have a few items to report for myself. Next month, I'll report on the Coast to Coast CSBA big federal learning and advocacy trip. I haven't had a chance to put all my notes together, but I can say the big emphasis with the federal government there, we had 20 roughly school board members and superintendents from the Bay Area, about 240 statewide, reaching out into all of our California delegation. And there's two things that have wide bipartisan support, and that's funding special education. The federal government, when they passed the law, said they do 40%, and I think we're getting 8%. So just something that consistent ask, and it is being highlighted there. And then also there's widespread support for everything career and technical education related. And there are many conversations too about it, as we've seen here in our conversations, that it's not about, you're the old way was you're a VOTech kid or you're a college kid. That is not the model today. Everyone needs to prepare for the constantly changing landscape of what is it going to mean to work and make a living. And nobody really knows the answer to that, other than you're going to have to build a lot of skills, both detailed skills and interpersonal skills. So I'll report on that more. And there are many presentations. I'm going to put them all in a Google Drive and ask that to be sent around so all the trustees can see the various information shared. But I did want to mention those two things. A little more locally, our County School Board Association, recently we had VTA in meeting with us during our monthly meeting. And big point from schools there is give all of our students a bus pass and a train pass, please. No tokens, all this nonsense. There are pilot programs VTA has with some places, and some get a discount, and some pay full price. But there are counties and cities in California and in the world where if you're a student, you can ride public transit. And so we're continuing to push on that as a particular thing with the Valley Transportation Authority. Also mentioned, I went to the Open Space Board. They happen to have their retreat here in town, not something I usually go to, but it was interesting to be there. And in some of their early discussions, their conversation was, how do we get young people involved? So I took the opportunity when they had public comments, said, have a youth representative on your board. We have great benefit from having a student board member here. Suggested they reach out. They needed to find some. We could make suggestions, or they could reach out to the Silicon Valley Climate Action. I think there's a whole youth. Let's just forget the full name. There's a huge Silicon Valley Youth Climate Action group, and I'm sure one or more of those young people would be delighted to be invited to be part of the Open Space Board. So I'll keep it short and sweet. That's my report on that item. Any other thing under board reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to J, the consent calendar. Do we have any requests to pull an item for further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I motion to approve it.
Thank you, Trustee Andrade. Do we have a second? Thank you, Trustee Altman. Student Board Member Yasso? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? All right. That brings us to about 7:50. So before we get into general business, we'll take a short 10-minute break. People can stretch. So we'll reconvene. All right, neglected item I-5 when I was going through the calendar of upcoming events. The calendar is posted as per usual, and I can also mention there that on the bond and parcel question, the research has been done, but the reports weren't ready for tonight, so we will certainly be bringing that in May, for those that are wondering. And, so now we move to item K1, the Measure G Bond Citizens Oversight Committee Annual Report. Assistant Superintendent Chang will introduce the item.
Thank you, President Horner. It is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Kathy Napoli, Chair of the Citizens Oversight Committee, and Mr. Joe Andretti, Bonds Director. Them two will be presenting the annual report tonight. Thank you.
Our screen is doing something a little funny, so.
Well, I can't see that. This is too high. It's kind of like sitting on these chairs when your feet don't reach the floor.
You want a stool? We'll get a stool.
We have to figure out why your presentation looks so odd. Just one moment. You're fine.
Well, I'm not, Joe's going to do most of this. I'm just going to do my little introduction to say good evening. I'm glad to be here again as I come annually and sometimes before on other issues. I want to be real clear to kind of remind people what the task of the board members are that the oversight committee are, because sometimes I think people misunderstand. The committee does not have any power to spend the money. That money has been designated when the bond was passed in 2012. And so those items were identified at that time. What we do is we ensure that the proceeds are spent in the way that it was described in the ballot language. The other is that we report the progress of the projects that we have, the capital projects that have been done. And then finally, I come here and give you the annual report. So I'm very proud to be part of this, and I want to make sure that I thank the people that usually don't get thanked. We get, as members of this committee, the fun of going to all the ribbon cuttings and enjoying the progress that's made when we go to, say, for example, Britain, and we get to look at that beautiful facility that we have, or we go to Nordstrom's and we get to look at all of that that's improved. But really, it's the Board of Trustees in 2012 that deserve most of the thanks, because they were looking into the future. They knew what the needs of the students were, and in fact, like me, don't have any students in the school system today, but they were seeing the future and they saw the needs that were there, and so that's why we have these beautiful facilities now. Without them, and especially obviously the taxpayers, we wouldn't have all of these improvements. And of course, I'm sure that every single one of you and everybody in the audience absolutely agrees that our students deserve the best. They deserve the best science labs, they deserve the campus, they deserve all of that any other school district in any other area of the county have. So we really do owe a great debt of thanks to the Board of Trustees that passed that bond in 2012, and all the taxpayers that said yes to it and that continue today to pay their taxes. Much like me, I was kind of counting back how long it's been since my sons graduated from Live Oak, and it was 35 years. So we cannot do what we do to improve our facilities without the taxpayers saying yes. And we have so many needs. And of course, I'll give you my little same thing that I say every time when I come up to talk about Measure G, and that is that the site that needs the most today is P.A. Walsh. And to go there, I just left the garden. You mentioned the garden that I'm a Kiwanian, and we just revived the garden there. And we still have those tremendous needs there. We still have those temporary portables. We still have some of the old buildings. And I see the difference from P.A. Walsh every time I go to visit the third grades, because I just finished visiting, I think 18 third grades in Morgan Hill Unified, because every year for the last 8 years, I go and do a presentation on the Native Americans, because as you also know, you'll probably hear it again, the Native Americans have been here for over 13,000 years, and we are still here. So it's really important to recognize that. So I have the real benefit, the joy of going to third grade classes, and I see the differences between Nordstrom or Paradise or El Toro. I go to all of those schools, and so I see the need at PA Walsh. So I will just again ask you for whatever future actions you take, that you make PA Walsh a priority. And I didn't know this, but we heard a lot about PA Walsh today. So that was good. So we should be very proud about what they're doing. And I will just very quickly, not related to Measure G, but to tell you what we're growing in the garden there. We are growing cucumbers, peppers, watermelons, strawberries, cilantro, onions, and we're already harvesting some of the cilantro. And those kids from second, third, fourth, fifth grade love going there. And so today we spent about an hour and a half pulling weeds. So they know the importance of maintaining a garden and also appreciating that we can grow the food that we eat every day. So with that, I want to just say I've let you know what our task is for Measure G, but I think it's also important to say thank you to our staff. So Colvera, thank you. Joe Andrade, there you are. Thank you. But it's also important to thank all the other people that play a key role in keeping these projects going. Eli Olaki, who is overseeing our construction, and Callie, who keeps the financial records done, and then Tricia, who always sends us our notices of where we're supposed to be. Because we wouldn't have a meeting if we didn't know where we had to go. So I think, again, thank you to the taxpayers in 2012. Thank you to the Board of Trustees, and thank you to all the staff who really make a difference. And just to end, because Joe is going to be showing you all the slides, I think that it's also important, because I go to the third grades, to give a huge, huge shout out to all those teachers who teach elementary school, because they teach every subject. It's not just in middle school or high school where maybe you're just teaching one subject. You're teaching math, science, English, and everything else. So thank you to our teachers who teach at the elementary school level. So with that, Joe's going to show us the slides.
Thank you very much, and thank you to you, Ms. Chavez Napoli, and your colleagues.
You can go to the next slide.
Hold 1 second here, Mr. Andrade. Before we do that, we do have one request for public comment on this item, so I'll ask Mr. Robel to make his comment, and then we'll continue with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So with regards to, well, I think everybody knows my feeling on bonds, right? Everybody knows bonds are for buildings that can, or for school facilities and no other purpose is what the law says for Prop 39 bonds. So bonds are buildings, parcel taxes are people. And I agree that absolutely our kids deserve the best education possible. I agree that kids deserve the best, but I would qualify it to say the best education possible. That's the job. And there is, at some point, tax saturation amongst the community. So where do you want to put the dollars, the next dollar for the community? And I would suggest that's not towards more buildings, especially with declining enrollment. And so we have to prioritize. You don't get everything, just like families don't get everything. And so my daughter went in a portable in Palo Alto High School with 20 kids in a class and an aide. And I think that's better than having a beautiful Taj Mahal with 30 kids in a class and no aide. So I think it's all about choices and trade-offs. And I think that's something that the board should really solicit the community and the teachers, and what do they view as most important. So with respect to this, I attended the Bond Oversight Committee, and my perspective is, a couple things that I know they're looking into. I think there's some issues. The Bond Oversight Committee, there's nothing that says they're subject to the Brown Act, which is a big problem, I think. That stifles communication amongst the members. It's only subject to the same notice provisions as the governing agency, so they have to notice the meeting, but not, they can talk to each other. The second issue is I'm concerned the bond oversight turns into a PR thing. The PR person was there talking about taking pictures. That's not oversight. And I was vice chair of the Community College Oversight Committee in San Mateo. It's about, let me see the contracts. Were they dual sourced? I mean, those types of things. None of that happened at the meeting. Second, another item. With respect to they're spending money like upwards of $500,000 on computers. Computers last 3 or 4 years. We even heard like they're running out of laptops. But unfortunately, you can't use bond money for computers because you're financing that over 40 years, just like you wouldn't finance your dinner out and then have, use mortgage money for it because you're going to be paying that dinner is going to cost you a fortune, right? Chromebooks last 2-3 years, and then you're still paying on them for 37 more years. But that's what they're doing. They're spending it on Chromebooks. That should come out of the general fund. Other concern I have so far that I've seen, the ballot language, I went back to Ballotpedia, it says to improve student access, blah, 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 modernize technology, leaky roofs, upgrade plumbing, upgrade fire safety, maximize energy efficiency, shall Morgan Hill Unified School District issue $198,250,000 in bonds at legal rates with citizen oversight, annual audits, no funds for administrator salaries, okay? You're spending over $1 million in administrator salary. So it's lying to the public. The public was told it wasn't for administrator salaries in the ballot language, in the ballot question, which is all they see when they're voting, that 75-word question, which we all know that's what Dale Scott and others do. So that needs to be, that's a problem, right? So you're telling, and if you do another one, you can't say no administrator salaries in the ballot question. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Andrade.
Mr. Horner and Board of Trustees. So we have the introduction, which was Kat already and myself. And then Kat, you're going to come back up here, right, to go over the letter, yes, and we'll review the balance sheet, and then I'll show you some pictures of some of the projects that we completed over summer 2025, and then open it up to any questions that any of the board members may have. Next item. Yeah, you can come up now.
Okay, you all have a copy of the letter, right? So it's really important to make sure that you are aware and that the public is aware that we did have an audit and we are in full compliance. And it's the auditor's job to find out if there's something that is important or that we need to improve on. There are no suggestions for us to make any changes. Last year, there was a very minor one, which we corrected, and this year we have no concerns whatsoever. But I think the most important part is that we are transparent and anyone can come, and some of the concerns that Mr. Roblet raised will be answered, but we are in full compliance of the law. And we all have different opinions about what we should spend our money on. And I can assure you Palo Alto is very different than Morgan Hill or San Martin or even Gilroy. So we have to look at our own community, and we look at our own community, and they are the final people who get to vote. The taxpayers are the ones that say yes or no, and they have voted yes. And we have to, it's not PR, it's being proud of what we've done, and it's being proud of the buildings that we have and that the students use every day. If you went when we had the ribbon cutting at Britton School, you would have seen those students be so proud that that is their site. And so we want them to be proud of it, and they get to say that too, and they get to go to their parents and they get to say, this is what we are proud to be in, we deserve it. And again, the final people who get to say that are the voters. So, and just a little kind of side thing, just because I've written so many grants for the garden, for the Historical Society, for many things in the county and the city. Part of when you write a grant is there's always some legal requirements and administrative costs. So those are part of the grant, because especially in a school district, I can't even imagine how much you have to keep track of, and that's part of the administrative costs to make sure that that grant is in full compliance. And I fully support any money spent that allows our children, every single child, where they can afford it or they can't afford it, to have the newest technology available. Maybe it's outdated soon, but that's all technology. So we have to be able to give our students, the students from Morgan Hill Unified, the same opportunities, the same equipment, the same options that every student has throughout Santa Clara County. So that's why I'm serving on this board, that's why I support it, and that audit really makes a difference. We are in full compliance. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat, and thank you to the Citizens Oversight Committee. Next slide. So currently, you're looking at the Series B Balance Fund. We currently have 1.4 million left in Series B. That money has been allocated, and we will be spending it this summer over at the Sobrato Gym through some deferred maintenance projects. Next slide. So Series C currently has, well, I should say Series C at the end of this summer will have 3.5 million. 1.7 million is already allocated to Martin Murphy for a deferred maintenance program to replace their HVAC system. And we will have 1.8 million left in our contingency. So I will be coming to you guys probably at the end of the summer to find out what projects we would like to complete with that 1.898 billion. Next slide. So over the summer, as Kat mentioned, we did some modernization over at Britton Gym. I think everyone in the public has seen the gym. Every once in a while, we'll get a text message from random people saying, "Hey, the gym looks great. Can you lower the buzzer sound?" But we did everything from resurfacing the floor all the way to re-roofing. We re-roofed, and then we also put an HVAC system, state-of-the-art sound system, audio-video system. So it's a really great gym for the community and the students. And it's one of my favorite projects so far. So, next slide. And if you're curious, that was $3 million to complete that renovation. That includes all the hard costs and soft costs. The Britton Building C demo that had taken place over the summer as well. And we've replaced that building with more hardscape, so that way the students have a bigger play area or a PE area, athletic area, whatever you want to call it, however you want to call it. And it allows you, I like it because now you can see the entire campus. So the principal can step out of their office and they have a view of the entire campus and see what's going on. So really nice how that turned out. And that was a total cost of 1.8 million. And then San Martin, Gwen, these are the projects that you really don't see because it's a fire alarm replacement, and who's looking around for a fire alarm, right? But it's important to have because it's fire, life, and safety, and we need it. So we replaced that alarm over there. And that was at 1.4 million. Next slide. Martin Murphy, same thing. We did the deferred maintenance on their fire alarm system, and that was a total cost of 1.2 million. Next slide. And we had some more deferred maintenance going on at Adult Ed. We replaced the roof on the north building and also added an HVAC system, and that was $448,000 for that. And at Live Oak, we completely took out the student parking lot and repaved it and reinforced it. There was no gravel underneath the previous asphalt. So now this new parking lot should last a good 20 to 30 years. We'll still need to slurry seal it every once in a while, but it's a great parking lot now. And that was a good price at 1.3 million. And technology upgrades. We continue to upgrade our technology throughout the district with our Wi-Fi and our networks and our cybersecurity. And next slide. And that's all I have for you. And if any board members or anyone up here has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions? Trustee Munson.
Yes. Can you give me again, you said, you'd be coming back to the board so we can get direct or give a direction on that 1.8 million. When are you doing that?
Towards the end of the summer, once we've closed out all of our projects and we know exactly how much money we have left in Series C to spend.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. I was wondering, I had a similar question to Trustee Munson. Are there any projects that you have identified for that 1.8 million?
I haven't identified any projects. Usually the board identifies the projects and then, or we may bring the list to the board and then the board will select which projects to do. So, but I have not identified any need as of today.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else?
Just
Please,
to kind of
Trustee
expound,
Wilson.
I just wanted to expand on that a little bit, because I was going to wait until the end, but since it's
That's good.
And so I guess my suggestion would be if we could get like a list or like categories, okay, the gym at all the schools or the playground at all the schools, and then who's the highest need for those things.
Oh, yeah. We
that's-
have the long-term range plan, and I believe everything is in there already. So I'll be looking at the long-term range plan, seeing what needs we have addressed already and what still needs to be addressed. And then from the long-term range plan, I'll bring those items and say, this is what the top 5 are. We only have this much money. Which
Yeah.
one do you want to do?
Okay, yeah, I think my concern would be just like, okay, randomly saying that, Paradise needs this. Well, I need to know compared to all the other schools. That
Correct,
kind of thing.
correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any others? Yeah.
Sorry, I had one more question. So, would some of the staff who are here tonight had brought up the desks at Live Oak, and I was wondering if that is like part of what the money could be spent, or is it more like, remodeling?
Well, that's a good question. We're doing a project at Live Oak through the name of the funds? Developer fees. And there are some desks that will be replaced in 3 of the buildings over there. But yes, bond funds are allowed to purchase furniture for the students. Yeah. 550, 500, 600, and 700.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, with that, this closes this item. This isn't an action item other than to thank you for the report.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work. And yes, I'm sure we will see lots more things on facilities. I think our second meeting in May is scheduled as kind of a facilities and other things. So I don't know what you'll have available then, but that will be one opportunity to look at not only bond funds, but all the other things you braid, I think is the term of art, braiding funds to get things done. Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to the next item, recommendation for curriculum for transitional kindergarten. See, the team is rushing the microphone.
We made it. We got TK teachers. They're high energy in the morning and they gotta go to bed. Past midnight time.
Uh-oh. Why does it keep doing that? That's strange.
It wasn't doing it. And it's doing it.
There it is.
All right.
Somebody just paid the cable bill.
All right, good evening, everyone. So we are here today to talk to you a little bit about the curriculum adoption for transitional kindergarten. Before we start, I do want to mention that best practice when doing a curriculum adoption is to include about 20% of the teachers. So for our TK, it's a relatively small adoption. We have about 20 TK classes, and so 20% of that is about 4 teachers, and so we have 25% of our committee here with us today. And thank you to Ms. Ashley Zur from El Toro for coming to represent the committee and speaking on their behalf. Next slide, please. So the purpose of this adoption is to provide some support to our TK teachers. The state rolled out TK and expanded the age to include younger students without providing a lot of guidance. They recently rolled out the preschool TK learning foundations, and now publishers have started producing products that are aligned with these developmentally appropriate foundations. And so now we want to be able to provide those developmentally appropriate resources to our teachers. Next slide, please. So our desired outcomes are that we can provide some consistency in our TK program across the district that is appropriate for these students who enroll sometimes when they're 3. So they are 4 by September 2nd, and so our school starts in August. They might be a little bit younger, and a lot of the materials that our teachers have been using are really TK materials from when TK was for early 5-year-olds. So now our children are much younger. We want to make sure that we have materials that address their needs. Also, the state has determined that it's really important to have play-based TK programs, and so we wanted something that aligns with that guidance. Next slide, please. This is our general adoption timeline, and so we started working on this actually towards the end of last year, but formally we started working on it in the fall. We had a team of teachers come together and learn a little bit about the preschool TK learning foundations, research-based best practices, and then review available curriculums and reduced it down to and then reduced it down to the curricula that would be piloted. They piloted 2 different curricula in the spring, and now they are here to make some recommendations. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, our committee composition was about 20% of our classroom teachers. It included our literacy TOSA, Kristen Matsis. We had 2 elementary site administrators and myself. And we reviewed the materials, applied our district criteria and our non-negotiables, got feedback from the teachers, and then developed a recommendation for you. So here's our non-negotiables: alignment to the preschool TK learning foundations, strong supports for English learners. We know that our youngest students are learning academic language in general, so we will look for a program with robust language supports. Accessibility for our students with diverse learning needs. A lot of times our youngest students have not yet been identified, and so we want to make sure that there's supports for teachers. Resources for small group instruction and intervention. Availability in English and authentic Spanish so that it can be used at our dual immersion schools, and then family-friendly supports and resources. Also, we wanted to include things that are aligned with our P3 work, and so mathematical discourse support, problem solving, open tasks, observational assessments, and then play-based developmentally appropriate instruction. So the team initially considered these 3 curricula, and they evaluated them going through the resources and the rubrics that we have, and they brought it down to 2 curricula. So we go next slide, please. This is the process that we went through, and they used a rubric to evaluate the curricula. Next slide, please. And ultimately, the team decided to move forward with Frog Street TK curriculum and the creative curriculum. And I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Zur.
All right. One of our first curriculums that we decided to pilot, I'm a little shorter than you, thank you, was Frog Street, which was super cute, well presented. It has a mascot frog that was like a foot tall. It was adorable. It almost got me. But the unit that we piloted was a unit for comparing and contrasting, which opened the floor for great conversations with my littles. It had great, strong oral language, vocabulary cards. The pictures were real life pictures instead of like cartoon pictures. It did tend to be a little bit more teacher-directed, teacher-led. Who's doing the talking is who's doing the learning. I found myself talking a lot. I also found that the materials that they gave us too, my TKers, my 4-year-olds, are a little rough and they broke a lot of things really easily. We need some sturdiness in our curriculum, and so that was just a note as well. Next slide. The next one we did was creative curriculum, which I think kind of really explains this curriculum. It is creative. It gives itself a lens for our kiddos to be hands-on, to be more inquiry-based. It's mathematics, science themes with our academics kind of spiraled throughout. So kids are getting repeated exposure in letters and numbers and shapes and all of the things. It is a strong alignment to play-based learning and to kind of like the way I run my classroom and the way a lot of the TK teachers run their classrooms. It aligned really well. So you had your block center, your science center, your sensory bins, and it gave you ideas that you could do to embed the curriculum into your centers. The only challenge and that I've kind of felt about creative curriculum was there was a lot of materials, which could be a good and a bad thing, but you're gonna have to be organized. But other than that, it was great. So next slide. So yeah, that was our recommendation. We did not unanimously. No, what is the word? Oh, it's so late.
Just describe it.
We all agreed unanimously.
It wasn't anonymous.
No, it was not. Well, it was, but we all agreed to recommend this curriculum. I think it really kind of goes towards where more towards play-based and aligned with our PTKLF, play-based, but still rigorous and still lends itself to high ceiling, low floor, other way, low floor, high ceiling model. And so it's just, I really enjoyed it. The unit that we piloted, sorry.
I was wondering if you were.
I was. It was a percussion unit. And if you know anything about 4-year-olds, you know they love to be loud. So it was a very loud unit. But they loved it. And it was so fun. It was hands-on. They did get to end up making their own instruments. It was just great. So that was our recommendation. Next slide. These is kind of back to you.
That's me. So here's our next steps. So tonight is just our recommendation to you. The materials are available for public review here at Los Paseos and at San Martin Gwen. On May 14th, we'll be back asking for your approval to move forward with the curriculum. If we receive approval, we have already started scheduling or trying to work with the teachers to figure out when they'd like to be trained, maybe right after school gets out, because we know our teachers like to train in the summer. So we've already started checking their availability just to see if they would be willing to come or if they would prefer to wait until August. So that's why it says professional learning in spring and fall. We also anticipate having a series of ongoing trainings to make sure that they have all the support they need with the new curriculum, with anticipated implementation in the fall. Next slide, please. Again, here's where the materials are available. They're available today through May 14th. Next slide, please. I want to say a special thank you to our adoption committee and pilot teachers. They worked very hard to learn these new materials and try them out in a pretty quick turnaround time. And so I just want to let them know that we really appreciate them. Next slide, please. And so again, at the upcoming board meeting, we will request action to approve the creative curriculum starting in the fall.
Thank you. Any questions? Trustee Altman?
How do the costs compare?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but TK curriculum is more of a one-time cost kind of thing because it's teacher materials. So then there's the licensing for the teacher platform, but we don't have the ongoing costs of consumable student materials.
Okay, I was hoping that your recommendation was a little bit cheaper than the Frogger one and we could buy frogs for everyone.
It is very frog driven. They even had a little frog spaceman for like spacing.
We could
and-
choose something else and just get something cute to go with it.
They really thought that was going to be the one, and then the teacher materials were not quite as user friendly as they anticipated, so they were a little disappointed.
And
I kept the frog, though.
you learned well. It looked like they each had some pretty significant advantages and drawbacks. How were the teachers unanimous or not unanimous?
That word again. Yes, unanimous. Yes, we were.
Were you anonymous while you were unanimous?
We did both, yes.
Okay, so
They were all in the same room at the same time, so they weren't anonymous, but they were unanimous.
But we did it online.
Yeah.
Okay,
but you
great.
all-
So, but yeah, because it looked like it was going to be a difficult choice between the pros and cons and being so different. Thank you so much. It's not easy work.
Yeah, so at the end of the Frog Street pilot, they all got together and discussed their experience, and they were surprised, I think, as the conversation was happening, that they realized that they all had a similar experience, which was not what they were expecting. And we had a conversation that when we originally received the curriculum presentations, they really thought they were going to like Frog Street, and they really thought they were not going to like creative curriculum. But the sales pitch is not the same as the materials, and they preferred creative curriculum.
That's like an eternal truth. Trustee Munson?
Yeah, I was just curious, how long was the unit? How many weeks?
We did them for 4 weeks.
Okay.
Each one was around 4 weeks, I believe. I think creative curriculums, they do like, it was a cycle of like 20, 21 days or something like that. So yeah, 4 weeks, both one, yeah.
Seeing no other hands or mics being grabbed, thank you very much. We'll see you back here in several weeks.
Thank you.
All right, now on to the Foundations of Academic Language and Composition course proposal. Assistant Superintendent Menace will get us kicked off.
Yeah, I'll get us started. If you recall, trustees, this last December, right, not 2025, but 2024, the board approved the Plan for English Learner Success, which is a policy document. And one of the things that we shared during that time is that the work that was going to happen this year was to create a secondary course for high school that specifically focuses on addressing the needs and academic needs of our long-term English learners. So tonight we have before you, Mr. Barkley is going to be talking about the recommendation for approving the Foundations of Academic Language and Composition, which is a course specifically designed for long-term English learners at the high school. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Barkley.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Carmen and board. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. My apologies.
It's okay, you're only on hour 14 of your day, we understand.
Before I get into the meat of this, I just want to kind of clarify some terms because English language development has its own kind of unique acronyms and terms as well. At Live Oak, students identified as English learners take designated courses called English Language Development, also known as ELD. It's going to be shortened as ELD throughout this presentation. The students are grouped according to their score on the placement in the most recent English language proficiency assessment for California or LPAC test, a large test towards the middle of the year that every ELD student takes. There are 2 separate English learner populations. The first population is our newcomers. Those are students that have been enrolled in schools from the U.S. typically for 5 or less years. So they have their own separate courses designed to promote literacy and get them up to speed. And then our other section is ELD sections for long-term English learners. Students have been enrolled in U.S. schools typically for 6 or more years and have yet to be reclassified. So these are our long-termers. They've been around, they've been in our district for a long time, and they're still struggling to reclassify. The 2 populations have very different linguistic needs. Newcomers need intensive immediate support for basic English acquisition, while the long-termers learners need targeted interventions to address very specific gaps. Most of these students, when you talk to them, they don't sound like they're newcomers. They usually can speak conversational English really well. Heck, some of them can read really well. They're just missing bits and pieces from either their reading, writing, speaking, or listening that we need to address. The course presented today is for approval was developed to support the needs of our long-term English learners. At Live Oak, long-term English learners make up about 70% of the population of our ELD students. So the course description is, we've got 4 pillars that we're looking at. The foundations of academic language and composition is trying to equip English language students with language and literacy skills, which is trying to meet that at least 30-minute daily designated EL instruction requirement by the state of California. It's also where we were cognizant that these students have been through a program for multiple years, usually in our district, which means that they have a particular point of view about the being in this class. So we were cognizant, and we tried to make sure that we had SEL and AVID strategies to build student confidence, combat stereotype threat, build study skills, and do social emotional learning. Yes, next slide, please. The other thing that we want to bring up is we wanted to make this course worth it just beyond like a study session for a test, which is historically what it's been. So we wanted to make sure that we had post-secondary readiness, that we're looking at life after high school, what you're going to do, and then develop skills not only for the job market, but as citizens in general. And then finally, of course, that last pillar is the LPAC test prep. It is the overall goal to get them passing that test and out and be redesignated so they can utilize the high school experience to its fullest. Next slide, please. So again, this is required by the state of California to support students identified as long-term English learners. And again, it's that 6 or more years. The students must earn the students to exit out of the course must pass that LPAC test in order to exit the course. Go ahead, next slide. Our course objectives, again, is college and career readiness. We want them exploring what their goals are and how high school is going to help them achieve those goals. We want to make sure that they are reading critically and doing performing analytical thinking habits and reading critically critical material. We want to make sure that they're engaging in a lot of different texts, not just English language literature texts, but also science, social studies, and other texts to make sure that they can understand and translate those. And again, bringing back to academic and life skills to bring out into the real world. Our course pacing and design structure, we designed all of our units around essential questions, broken up into 6 units over the course of the year, with multiple grade checks in all of the classes, acting as a support class for the student in the rest of the classes, because again, these are students that have been in this system for a while and may be struggling in certain areas. So we're also developing it as a support class for that as well, and building up those organizational and study skill building skills to make sure that they are performing well, not just in ELD and English, but all their classes together. We have weekly structures around silent sustained reading, making sure we build up that literacy skill, vocabulary development with word prioritization and speaking practice, and then of course low stake writing and LPRAC practice as much as we can. The first 3 units, again, we use essential questions to kind of drive our units. The first 3 units are who am I, who are you? We're going to be diving into personal narratives, partner interviews and presentations, getting them speaking to each other, speaking their story and speaking to what they're experiencing. And then the second unit that we're going to be delving into is who are we, what's happening in the world. So we stop looking inwards and we start looking at local community-based things. So we're looking at current events, bias, credibility, self-selected research, allow them to pick what's going on in the community that they want to focus on. And then the what can we do about it as a civic process, a civic action, idea of getting involved in your local community and using the skills that you're developing as a student to affect change in your community. The second units, we have a unit dedicated to LPAC overview and test prep. It happens directly after winter break. It's a mad sprint towards the LPAC test, and it becomes all kind of focused on that. And then afterwards, everybody kind of dies down a little bit because the big part of the class is over. So we move on to short story and poetry. We're able to get that kind of figurative language component that isn't necessary for the LPAC, but is necessary for literacy for the students involved. So like things like flash fiction, short poetry, figurative language, and idioms. We just got through a bunch of idioms from my class this year, and they were really appreciative because they finally understood some common phrases. And then finally, Unit 6 at the end of the year is all post-high school planning, cover letters, resumes, PAQs, personal statements, the idea of doing research and understanding where you're going after this. Methods and instructions, we were really cognizant that we wanted to make sure that we are mimicking as many modes of learning as we could, because we wanted to practice all the different modes of learning that they would see in, say, a science class or an English class. So it's all about, we'll be rotating through direct instruction, seminar and discussion, projects and student-directed inquiry, and then group work as well, making sure that they have skills for each of them and are able to build that up. And so wherever they end up, they can make sure that they have those skills available to them. Assessment overviews. The assessments is organized. We are mimicking the LPAC test almost directly. We want the students to be able to, when they look at areas and they see their grades, they can see exactly where they're struggling in and what they're excelling in. So each category is weighted around the same, with the fall finals being separate, of course. We put a little bit more weight on the reading and writing section because frequently that's where they struggle the most in LTELs. For listening and speaking, they get lots of practice out on the courtyard and things like that, at breaking things like that. For casual conversation, that's going to be more reinforcing the academic, where reading and writing is where they just don't get enough practice in. And again, the goal of this class is to reclassify them as English proficient. We want them to test out as quickly as possible. It's not one of these classes we want them in for multiple years. We want them to get through and participate in and become more engaged academically in high school life. We really want to lean on a bunch of programs that we already had and use the resources that we already had in our tool belt already. So we took a look at ERWC. AVID was a huge help in talking about social emotional learning and working out that. And then EL Education as well, where it's like, you know, project-based, character-driven. And then of course, StudySync has been a help in terms of modifying assignments, dropping down levels so we can have high interest articles, high interest readings without drowning them in too much technical. As an English teacher, I always like to throw up like a bunch of like, here are my sources. So I dragged in all of the English ELD standards and things like that. If you want to take a closer look, otherwise it's there for you to take a look at. That's it. Sorry.
Is that it then?
That is it.
Okay.
Yeah, we are just, yeah.
A lot of pages for reference. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right.
No, you have nothing to apologize. Thank you for the work. It's an incredible amount of work that has been done on a really important topic. So thank you very much. Just want to start with that. And I don't know if we have any other questions or comments other than bravo. That's mine. Bravo.
Thank you.
Please, Trustee Munson.
Just a quick question. Was this class being offered at Live Oak and Sobrato? Or
Yes,
just Live
we
Oak?
worked with Rebecca O'Leary over in Sobrato. She was a major component in bringing in both the AVID and the kind of social emotional learning component.
Oh, okay.
So just to clarify, once a course is adopted, it can be taught at
Yeah.
by grade level at any of our schools.
Okay, perfect. I did hear you mention Live Oak, but then I was like, okay, how does that apply?
Yeah, I just had
you
the
know?
statistics for Live Oak, not Sobrato.
Okay. And then one other thing that stood out to me, Unit 1, The House on Mango Street. Love that book.
Yes, yeah, great.
Taught it at 6th grade.
Great question and great answer. Thank you. Please, Trustee Altman.
Is there, this might be more for Dr. Jimenez, but maybe you know, any looking at doing it at the middle school level?
Yeah, I
Yeah, I think that's our next step, is to figure out how to take this framework that David, Mr. Berkeley, and Ms. O'Leary kind of helped put together with addition with a lot of staff. But thank you so much for all the work. As you can see, it was very in-depth, clearly aligned to the things that students need, but bringing that to the middle school, that's our next step.
Awesome. Thank
Another
you.
excellent question and excellent answer.
No, I think
Trustee Marquez.
I think that's great that you're looking forward to bring it to the middle schools. I think it's important to start there too. I want to say thank you for sharing the acronyms, because people often think that we, assume that we know. And
Yeah, no, absolutely. As you know, when I got thrown into this, I was busy learning it myself. So.
And I think it's really important for the students to be ready for the job market, and their college career, readiness. It's so important. And what you're doing in this program, I think it's wonderful to help the ELD students.
Yeah,
So
and
thank you.
I'm really proud to announce that we did have 35 reclassifications at Live Oak this year, which is
Thank you.
Any others? All right, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve. Thank you,
I
Trustee
second.
Menson.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Marquez, for the second. Student Board Member? Okay, all others in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? All right, that passes unanimously with our 5 remaining board members. All right. Oh, my apologies. Sorry? Oh, okay. Thank you. You can see her better than I can, so thank you. I appreciate that. All right, we'll move on then to item 4. All right, yes, public hearing regarding Morgan Hill Classified Employee Association's initial proposal regarding negotiations. So this is, thanks to the state, we have this clumsy little process, so we open the public hearing. Would anyone like to make comment on this item? Seeing none, we open at 8:51. I don't know if we can close at 8:51, or you also closing at 8:51? Okay. And then we move on to the same topic, but Assistant Superintendent Tavares will now present the item.
Good evening, trustees. I am very pleased to come before you and ask for you to adopt the Sunshine proposal for the Morgan Hill CSEA, or excuse me, MESIA Sunshine. And so they've sunshined a few articles for your perusal, and we'd like to ask that you adopt the proposal, please.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do we have a motion? Thank you, Trustee Menson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Altman. You're off the hook on this one, Student Board Member. Sorry. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Okay, that passes unanimously by the 5 members present. Now we will do a similar process for item 6. Morgan Hill Unified School District initial proposal. Wait a minute. Oh, this is ours back to them. Okay. Okay, so we're having a public hearing on the school district's proposal for openers.
Yes.
Okay, do we have any requests for public comment? Opening at 8:52. Nothing. Okay, closing public comment at 8:52. So now we move on to item 7. Guess who's back?
Here I am, and hopefully I can say it right this time. Okay, so this is the district's proposal to Sunshine, and we have Sunshine the same articles as Messiah has, and we would very much so like for you to adopt our Sunshine proposal so that we may begin negotiating with Messiah.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions or comments? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve.
Thank you, trustee Altman. Second. Thank you, trustee Munson. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? There are none. Okay. Thank you. Now, the 8th item, this is the delegate assembly. You may recall, we did this once, but we had a tie between Elizabeth Halliday and Jody Muirhead. I suggest that we once again select Elizabeth Halliday unless somebody has other ideas. Okay, would somebody like to make that motion?
I move that we vote for Elizabeth Halliday.
Thank you, trustee Altman. Do we have a second? Thank you, trustee Munson. It's a tag team on the first and seconds here tonight. Okay, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Seeing none. Oh, I'm sorry, student board member. Aye, okay. Okay, that carries. And I do know from CSBA, I don't know that it was, they don't tell who, but the last time around, a couple boards didn't have their ballots counted, but they wouldn't tell us which ones. So anyhow, I don't know how we can confirm that they get the information, but let's make sure they have their own odd process. All right, we're almost done. New business. Any requests for future agenda items?
Trustee Altman.
Thank you. I would like next month for us to actually discuss the budget as a board before we have to adopt it, and to take a look at the last county certification letter and just decide which way we want to go so we come up with the budget that I could vote in favor of.
So you're asking for?
I'm asking that we discuss the budget prior to when we have to approve it in June. And also to, as a board, discuss the last certification letter and implications.
Okay, so do we have 3 more members with the same request? Because that's so that's one. Do other people have that, agree with that request to address the budget? Our next normal budget meeting would be after the May revise, so that's
in June.
In June?
No, we already do have a planned update regarding the May revise because Governor Newsom will be revising his January budget, and we suspect that there may be some changes, and so we were already prepared to provide an update to the board on what the May revise could potentially look like and how that may impact BMYP.
So would that be at the second meeting in May, or? We have 2
It would
meetings
be in
scheduled.
alignment with whenever statutorily Governor Newsom has to issue his May revise.
Yes, so the governor has a timeline of May 14 to issue the May revise, so it would have to be the second meeting in May.
Okay, so we can schedule an update to address both the May revise, what that looks like, and some preliminary discussion, though not action. Is it? Okay, so we will plan on that. I'm good with that. Everybody good with that for the 28th? Yeah, so. I'm sorry? Yes. Yes. Yes, well, 4 actually, but yes, needs a majority. Yes, yes, everybody said yes, so we're good. Okay, thank you for that. Any other items? Trustee Munson?
Just if we can look into the Bear Marquee and get an update on the status of that at our next board meeting, just how, just an
Maybe,
update.
yeah, maybe in the superintendent's weekly update or a board update. Is that okay?
Or an
Okay.
update to the public, so they can
Understood.
also.
Yeah, we don't need 4 for that. That's a pretty straightforward one. Any other requests? Seeing and hearing none at 8:57, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.